Hello, everybody, and welcome once again to Functional Medicine with me, Dr. Howard Robbins. Um, we're having many changes taking place, so if there's some technical difficulties going on, please forgive us. It's okay. And me, I'm the opposite of a techie. I have lots of technical challenges. So when changes are being made, it's not always easy to figure out and make everything work. So bear with us, because the most important thing is the content of our show. Our show offers you safe, most importantly, safe and effective natural ways of treating just about every disease and condition that there is. Um, Not every disease or condition, because very often genetic diseases and conditions can only be improved by improving health, but not actually gotten rid of. Today, we're going to be talking about osteoarthritis. There's over actually 100 different types of arthritis, and we're going to be talking about osteoarthritis. Now, I know we're not, there's some big changes taking place here at Voice America, but I have to still thank my sponsors for the reason I'm able to do these shows. Okay. So first, I have to thank Promolife. Promolife makes ozone products, some of which are going to be valuable and important in arthritis. So you may want to get a pen and paper so you could write some things down that I'll repeat later on. But Promolife, promolife.com, promolife.com. You go online, take a look at all the different things they offer. You're going to hear why I'm going to talk about some of the ozone products that they have later on. And if you mention that you heard about it here on the Dr. Robbins show, they'll do something special for you. Now, how do you mention that? Obviously, I'm not going to suggest that you order online. There's nobody to talk to. But if you call them at 888-742-3404, 888-742-3404, they'll do something special for you. Okay. You mentioned you heard about it here on the show, and they'll do something special for you. I wish everybody, by the way, happy, healthy New Year. I don't know when you're going to listen to this show. If you're listening to it currently, it's Happy New Year. You may be listening to this show a year from now or 6 months from now. So you'll understand. Look at the date and you'll see this is right after New Year's, and therefore, day after New Year's Day, I have to say that. I think it's appropriate. And then I'd like to thank Doctor's Biome. I can't impress you with how important having a healthy gut is to being able to deal with any arthritic problem, including osteoarthritis. Why would the gut be connected to your bones? It's a very good question. And that's what this show is going to answer. So trust me when I say the connection is direct in a number of different ways. So you have to have a healthy gut if you want to overcome osteoarthritis. You go online to doctorsbiome.com. That's doctorsbiome.com. And when you go to check out, put the code radio20 in, RADIO, radio 20, and you'll get 20% off your first order, I believe. Later on, go on auto ship. You'll get 10% off future orders and priority shipping. And it's free. And it comes with 100% money back guarantee. Yeah, in case you're wondering, what am I talking about? Doctor's Biome is a very, very important and special probiotic beverage. It's going to change the whole probiotic world. It's now being sold literally all over the world. It's sold in the EU through Nutramed.com, a company out of the Netherlands. And Nutramed can help you get it. It's sold, literally, you can order it in any country you live in. It's sold out of in Southeast Asia, through Singapore right now. Eventually, it'll be sold everywhere. It's a very special probiotic beverage because it has 15 patented strains of probiotics created to survive the stomach acids over 90%. Capsule, powder, and tablet probiotics are in those probiotics are in suspended animation, hoping to come back to life. And then if they do, when you drink them with water, the stomach acids and bile salts can destroy most of them. Doctor's Biome has 15 patented strains living to begin with in a 100% organic mint, kale, lettuce, cucumber, celery, apple, lemon juice. So it's tremendous. It's amazingly available to pass through the stomach and get to the gut. And when it gets there, because it's called smart probiotics, okay, smart probiotics, when you see it there, when you see smart probiotics, that means they're created to stick to the wall of the gut. We've done shows on this. If you want to go back and listen to some of my past shows on probiotics, you'll understand why that's important, because most probiotics just aid digestion. These will not only just aid digestion, but stick to the wall of the gut. This gets yeast in balance, as you're going to learn how that's important in arthritis, and get rid of bad bacteria living in the wall of the gut and repair the gut wall so you can absorb all these nutrients I'm going to talk about today. So you go to doctorsbiome.com and in checkout, put in the code radio20. Okay. And it comes with a 100% money back guarantee. You cannot lose. You cannot lose. No questions asked. Unless something's wrong with it, they always like to know. And it's important that you get this. You won't be sorry. I give you my word on this. I'm in medical practice. This is my 50th year. I've never seen a product as special as this or as important as this one is in natural health care. Okay, everybody. So let's get into the guts of the show right now. I'm doing a show that I've never done before, a podcast I've never done before on osteoarthritis. It is the most common form of arthritis. It affects millions of people worldwide. I did some checking, and the CDC, our Center for Disease Control and Prevention, says, and they looked at over 100 trusted sources for this. They came up with the fact that over 32 million people here in the US suffer from this. And through that same source, it's literally probably over 100 million more worldwide people that suffer from osteoarthritis. Fact of the matter is, way underestimated, because most people who have aches and pains in their joints, remember, arthritis is a joint problem. People who have aches and pains in their joints don't always complain about it. They very often will go and buy over-the-counter remedies or do natural supplements that we'll be talking about, painkillers or anti-inflammatories and things like that. So they're not going to tell you, oh, gee, I have arthritis. These numbers came up basically from people who have sought medical attention, formal medical attention for this. So we're talking about numbers that are way, 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 way higher than that. I mean, that number here in the US represents about 10% of the population. Do you understand how ridiculous that is? 30%, 40% at least of the population here suffer from it. And I would imagine similar worldwide. Um, Basically, what is it? So in case you're not understanding, okay, you have joint pain, but what's causing it? Well, when the protective cartilage that cushions the ends of the bones in your joint start to wear down over time, or possibly from an injury, okay, this breakdown of that gentle lubricating tissue that allows the joint to slide and bones to move over one another breaks down, and that's what becomes inflammatory and irritating. Basically, osteoarthritis can damage any joint. It's often called the wear and tear arthritis or the old age arthritis. Young people get it too. We're not talking about rheumatoid arthritis or when children get it, Still's disease, where I've done shows on that, and maybe we'll repeat them one day. This is joints that have been damaged from wear and tear. It could be done mechanically, meaning you work at a computer and you're using your fingers and your joints all the time, your hands, your wrists, your shoulders, and you're developing some problems there. It could be caused by athletics. It could be caused by work. If you're always on your feet, standing at work and moving at work. That's why feet, hands, knees, hips, even the spine is most commonly where you're going to see arthritis come in. Shoulders as well, depending on the kind of work that you do or the kind of sports that you use. So there's a lot of symptoms that come with this. The symptoms can vary from, if you put it at 0 is no symptom at all and 10 is the worst pain you can imagine. Some people tell me I'm a 20, not a 10. Pain. And the joints can hurt whether you're moving them or not. Okay, that you'll feel pain. Stiffness. That's the most common, most noticeable thing that occurs when you first wake up and get up in the morning, or if you've been sitting and not moving for a while, you notice that your joints are getting stiff. That might be the first sign of it. Now, if you put pressure or press on the joints, you may feel tenderness. So that's another symptom that you might feel. And that happens with light pressure. It doesn't have to be severe pressure. And it doesn't have to be right on the joint. It could be just near the joint that you're feeling it. That's due to swelling that takes place. You may find yourself becoming less flexible. That's another symptom of it. Okay. Flexibility is a very, as we get older, we become stiffer. You watch people, including myself, get up. And I notice that I don't stand up as straight as I often do when the 18 years of judo took its toll on my back, not counting all the years that I spent in college as president of the karate club. 3.5 years of karate and 18 years of judo took its toll on my body. If you feel a grating sensation when you flex a joint, that's bone on bone already. That means that the cartilage is worn away in, partially or possibly even completely in the joint. And then the rubbing of the bone on bone can develop what's called bone spurs, little calcium deposits that start to form because of the pressure placed on the bone. The joint doesn't have the cartilage to allow the other bone to move over it. And that extra pressure causes the bone to respond. You get osteoblastic formation, new bone formation, and spurs occur. Once the spur is there, it's there. And we're going to talk about what the deal is with that. Of course, if you see swelling around the joint, that says, well, things are getting really bad. Okay. So eventually, as this cartilage wears down and bone starts to develop and build up, you've got what we call osteoarthritis. Um, there's other risk factors involved. And when I say a risk factor, I don't know why they call it that, because everybody is susceptible to it. Everybody has risk factors. As you get older, women are more likely to get it than men. They don't really know why. Likely and possibly hormonal relationships address this there. Certainly, if you're obese, that's another very serious problem. Okay, that's a very serious problem. All right, very serious problem, because I'm trying to communicate with, if I stop for a minute, please forgive me. I'm communicating, with the station, with my engineer, who's amazing. All right. So being heavy, putting extra pressure down on your feet, your spine, your hips, your knees are going to definitely lead to this. So overweight is one of the biggies. Um, and we're going to talk about how much weight you need to lose to make literally a real difference. And believe me, it's not what you think. It's much less than you think to make a difference. If you can repeatedly put stress on a joint in your job because of the work that you do or the sport that you play, this is going to increase it. There is some genetic tendencies towards this, supposedly. If you happen to be born with a malformed or joint or a defective cartilage in a joint, that's possible too. It may not be genetic, that it happened, but it could be. But this can happen. We're not perfect. We're not perfect organisms. There are some metabolic diseases that can lead to it, such as diabetes can lead to it. Or if you have too much iron in your blood, that's another interesting thing. Hemochromatosis can lead to this happen. Well, anyway, let's go to our first commercial break, and we'll be right back. Stay with us. Hello, everybody. Thanks for staying with us. I know some of you who are watching this on YouTube have seen watching me talking and hearing absolutely nothing. That's okay. You gotta subscribe, apparently, to be able to listen to our commercial break. Otherwise, you're just going to get to see me ranting, raving, talking, reading, or whatever I have to do, because I always keep notes in front of me, because I don't want to leave any of the important things out. So let's get right back to things. So pretty much you have a good idea of what arthritis is. God knows you can prevent it as well with a lot of the things that we're going to tell you to do. Okay, so let's start with when I spoke about being overweight. Here's the thing. I don't care whether you're overweight or not. It's none of my darn business. People have the right to do whatever people want to do. Just know that if you think you're getting away with it, you'll get away with it only for a period of time, and then eventually you'll have a problem. I remember with my mom, when, may she rest in peace, when she was 60 years old, she was overweight, eating poorly and everything. And I used to have arguments with her about it. And her answer to me was, well, I have nothing wrong with me. I'm perfectly fine. I don't take any medications. I'm doing very well. Later on, she developed high blood pressure, arthritic pain, where she needed a walker and help getting up to some degree in and out of a chair. And more. I'm not going to go into all her medical problems that she developed, but boy, she developed a lot of them, because obesity has many effects. But with overweight, the pressure on your joints is tremendous. So let me just give you an idea. Maybe this will motivate you to drop, or maybe it won't. Every step you take, if you're an average walker, not a fast walker, you're coming down on your foot and ankle with twice your body weight in force per square inch. Okay. So if you weigh 1 pound, you hit the ground at 2 pounds per square inch. That means your heel is hitting at 2 pounds. Now multiply how much you weigh. So let's say you weigh 100 pounds. So you're hitting at 200 pounds of force per square inch. I'm putting aside gravity for the moment. Okay. Let's say you're 200 pounds. That's 400 pounds of force per square inch. Now multiply your weight times 2. Okay. Now, the average person does 3,000 steps per, 1,000 steps per mile and 3 miles a day. So multiply your body weight, that twice your body weight, times 3 miles, and that's how much force, okay, first times 1,000, and then times 3. So a 1 pound weight is 2. 2 times 1,000 is 2,000. Times 3 is 6,000 pounds of force per square inch for 1 pound. That's an amazing. If I gave you 6,000 pounds of gold in a room piled in 1 pound bars, and I tell you, get it out of this room, past the doorway into the next room and put it down. And I'll let you keep all the gold for free. If you can move every one of those gold bars out of that room in 24 hours, I'll give you a whole day. I promise you, you're going to drop before you get all those gold bars out in 24 hours. You will not do it. Now multiply that 6,000 times your actual body weight. And now you have hundreds of thousands of pounds of force per square inch going through your hips, knees, foot, and ankle every single day. Wonder why you develop arthritis if you're overweight? It's bad enough if you're at proper weight. It's tough enough if you're at your proper weight. It's a choice. Now, guess what? Here's the number. I know you're going to go, oh, I need to lose double, triple, quintuple that. I need to drop 100 pounds. You may or may never do that. But if you can drop just 8 pounds, 8, statistically and clinically, it will make an amazing difference in how you feel. Just 8 pounds. And you don't have to do it tomorrow. If you do 2 pounds a month, in 4 months, you will have dropped 8 pounds. And just those 8 pounds will make an amazing difference on your arthritis. I know you may not want to accept it, believe it, or even do it because you go, I got to lose too much, I can't, and won't do it. But if you do that, what a difference it will make. Enough. Do it or don't. I'm not your boss. I had that tattoo, I am your boss, removed from my forehead many years ago. I barely have control over me, let alone anybody else. So I've stopped trying to. And that stopped me from aggravating myself when patients would complain about this. So now let's start. What can you do to treat it? Okay. Heat. Sometimes heat can help muscles relax and can ease pain because it helps in blood flow. I'm a big, when the pain is severe, I'm in favor first of cold, icing it. If you ice the joint, and there's so many ways you can buy gel packs, you can buy a bag of peas. Doesn't have to be organic peas. Any kind of peas will do, as long as it's in a bag. And of course, that'll melt, be able to be crushed and move over whatever the joint is. Wrap around your knee or your ankle or your toes, your fingers. Wrap it around the shoulder, wherever you're feeling pain. You buy 2 bags. So you lay one on for 10 minutes. Do not overfreeze a joint. It's 10 minutes on by the clock, 10 minutes off, 10 on, 10 off, 10 on, 10 off. Please don't overfreeze a joint or any tissue. Okay. Usually within an hour to an hour and a half, remember, it's only on half that time, pain should have diminished and you should feel better. That's when it's very painful. When it's mildly discomforting, when you feel stiff, heat tends to be the better way to go. And you can use heat from a hot, wet cloth. You could just wring it out and then lay it over the area, or have somebody do it for you if you need help. You could use heating pads. There's a lot of simple things you can do virtually anywhere in the world you are, so you don't have to travel with modalities to put heat on. Um, there's hot packs that you can buy, that you can use. So many different ways of applying heat. Okay. Now, if heat seems to make the discomfort worse, pain come on, go to ice. Okay. Next rule. So cold first, if it's painful. If it's just mildly uncomfortable or stiff, heat. If heat seems to make it worse, go to ice. And if you're not sure which one to use, ice. Okay. That's the way to go. That's the same for injuries. Cold first, then go to heat. If you've used heat, the heat's making it worse, go right to ice. Now, movement therapies are very important. There's all sorts of yoga. One of the most beneficial ones is Tai Chi. We're talking about prevention at the same time we're talking about treatment. Tai Chi is not just can be a martial art, but those movements are designed. Kung Fu is designed to move joints in a way that opens up your meridians and allows energy to flow. And that can make a major, major difference. By the way, if you think you have osteoarthritis, if it's in a particular area of your body, you may want to figure out if one of your teeth are involved. I know this sounds very obtuse to you, but if you've had a root canal or you have an infection in a tooth, each tooth relates to a different portion of the body. And I once watched in my buddy Robert Rowan's office out in Santa Rosa, a woman who had back pain, low back pain, suffering for 20 years. And he has it up on his YouTube site. And he one tooth happened to have a root canal, and he gave her a little local injection of anesthesia into that tooth, into the gum. And she got up and she started crying because she was walking without pain. And she'd been living with that for almost in and around 30 years. I mean, it's amazing. I know it sounds crazy. I witnessed it. It's not crazy. So your mouth and different teeth affect different joints in your body. So if you have root canals, or perhaps even you've had a tooth removed, but there's still a low-grade infection in the bone, this can cause a meridian-like system to develop and causing joint pain. And that's easily overcome by eliminating the infection. We didn't tell you how yet, but we're going to talk about it. Yes, you could use braces of different types. That can help. Physical therapy basically is joint movements, and a lot of people do go to physical therapists. It's a wonderful thing for arthritis. The key is to get a joint moving, and as you get a joint moving, as the joint moves, a liquid is created called synovial fluid. And it's the synovial fluid that lubricates the joint and the ligaments that surround and support a joint. So you may hear snapping and crackling, as I call it, when you get up or you bend down or you move a joint. That's usually dry ligaments snapping over bone. Now, if you gently do motions that will flex those joints in your feet, your ankles, your knees, your hips, your neck, all sorts of motions like that can lubricate the joints, get that synovial fluid flowing, and that can ease arthritic pain up tremendously. Of course, if you let things go too far, just using a cane or a walker may be something that you have to do to get by. But the key is to try to prevent it. Now, sometimes, and by the way, with heat, I should have mentioned, hot baths can be very beneficial. You may or may not have heard of Epsom salt. Epsom salt baths have been used worldwide since they've been discovered. That seems to be very beneficial to helping with joint pain. It's probably the magnesium in the salt, the Epsom salt, that's doing the work. That's helping, but it's also just the hot water that can make a difference. Again, if heat makes it worse, use ice, but that's the way to go. Now, now we're going to go through a lot of things that you can take orally, and then I'm going to get into what I believe the most important things you can do to overcome arthritis in particular joints. So the stuff that everybody can easily do, if it's available and if you can afford it, that's the key. So let's start with the list because it's a long one. Oh, by the way, I did leave out TENS before. There's TENS. TENS is a device that you hook up in front and on both sides of a joint. It sends an electric current, and that can help tremendously with joint pain. Sometimes TENS, they're readily available today. They're not very expensive units, and they're very small and portable now. You can use them and take them with you on trips just about anywhere you go. All right. I did leave out some other things that if I have more time, we'll get to it. There's just so much to talk about, like red light therapy, laser therapy, PEMF. I've done shows on that. Pulsed electromagnetic frequencies. These are modalities you have to go generally to a doctor. Red light therapy, you may be able to buy things to use at home if they're really good quality, because they have to shoot red light and through the red light spectrums to be beneficial in any real way. But red light therapy, some of the new types of laser therapies and pulsed electromagnetic therapy, those things are kind of expensive. So you need to usually go to doctors who can show you how to use the TENS unit, the light therapy, the laser therapies and whatnot. So there's a lot of herbal remedies and natural therapies, things that you can start taking that may help also in the prevention and treatment of it. So if you know you're going to be susceptible of it, you're starting to show signs of osteoarthritis, you can start with things like, for example, resveratrol. It's found in berries and peanuts and grapes, along, by the way, with grapeseed extract. And that can be amazingly beneficial. I'm not going to be telling you how much of these things to take because everybody is a different size and you shouldn't all be taking the same necessary amount. A man 6 feet tall weighing 300 pounds doesn't need the same as a person who's 5 feet 1 inch tall weighing 100 pounds. Okay. There's different pressures and therefore you don't need as much medicine. Some of these things, to me, it's medicine, even though it's all natural, and you have to do it dose dependent. And there's either way you're going to experiment on your own or you're going to go see somebody. Okay. You're going to go see somebody who's a specialist in it and they can put you on what they think is right. When I practiced medical nutrition, I would do kinesiology, applied kinesiology, muscle testing to determine should you take this, shouldn't you take it? How much should you take? What time of day should you take it? With food, without food. So I could test for all these different things and determine all the different specifics that you might need. To some degree, I still practice that, but not nearly as much. What we're going to do is go to our last commercial break. Then we're going to come back and we're going to go through. So get your pen and paper ready with all the different things that are possible to swallow, and then the things that we've done to really make a difference in our medical practice, that and also things you can do at home. Everybody, stay with us, and we'll be. Hello, everybody. We're back again. I know some of you have seen nothing but silence for 2 minutes, so please forgive that. If you go to my YouTube channel, Functional Medicine with Dr. Robbins, then you won't hear that. You won't be sitting here for 2 minutes waiting for me to come back on. So I put up my own shows now here on YouTube. But in any case, let's get right to it. So get your pen and papers ready and start writing down all the different things that I think are important that you can swallow that will make a difference, and what not to swallow. Then I'm going to talk about the most important things, I think, to help really treat it when it gets that severe. This is for all of you who are not suffering severely. If you're suffering severely, you may need to wait till when I talk about ozone therapy and whatnot to make a difference. So berberine is an alkaloid. It's found in various medicinal plants. You can buy it, and it seems to have very potent osteoarthritic benefits. Berberine, B-E-R-B-E-R-I-N-E. Devil's claw, grapple plant, it's also called, has an anti-inflammatory. So all these are basically anti-inflammatories. There is inflammation in the joint, which is causing swelling. By reducing the inflammation, the swelling comes down. Oxygen and nutrients can get in to make energy. The things seem to reduce then in pain because there's less pressure on the nerves. You get more flexibility. That's why it's basically anti-inflammatory medication that you're looking to get. But devil's claw also has pain relieving benefits, as do most of these different supplements. So basically, again, we're looking for anti-inflammatory and the possibility of pain relief. So chamomile, you can get chamomile and chamomile tea. Could try growing it and taking the flowers and making a tea out of it, but it's just easier to buy the tea. Ginger, and fresh organic ginger. You could be juicing it in with other some juice that you take, organic juices that you can make each day. Add some turmeric into that. Turmeric is another amazing anti-inflammatory. And if you don't mind some bad breath, raw garlic. I like raw garlic. Raw garlic has so many wonderful benefits to throw that in. You'll hear and read about boswellia. Boswellia is frankincense. Indian frankincense. Boswellia has amazing benefits besides being used in other ways. Tremendous anti-inflammatory. Ashwagandha. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly or not, but ashwagandha, another amazingly, not always easily available, and that's where you may have to hunt for some of these things. Here's one you're never going to see much, but I've had nothing but wonderful success with it. Boron. Boron is a trace mineral. It's often overlooked, and that's one of the reasons I've had some great success with it, because I didn't overlook it. It's a trace mineral. You may find some of it in sea salt, but you can get boron. You don't need to take much. Usually 1 tablet of whatever boron is. Some people may have to take 2. You see how it works. You don't want to overdo trace minerals. But boron, tremendous benefits for osteoarthritis. Bromelain, sticking with the bees. Bromelain is another wonderful anti-inflammatory. Then people often overlook, and why they should, I don't know, because they offer it for dogs as well and cats. Chondroitin sulfate. chondroitin sulfate, and then glucosamine. Chondroitin and glucosamine are often taken together. And they make supplements with, because now they know you can buy them separately. So you could try one at a time to see how it works, or buy them when they're paired up with one another. So chondroitin sulfate and glucosamine sulfate, or glucosamine in different forms, along with MSM. Don't overlook methylsulfonylmethane. MSM is wonderful. I don't care what you've read. If somebody has talked negatively about it, they're wrong. You can add that into the mix. Vitamin A, D, vitamin E, vitamin A, vitamin D3, vitamin C. How many times, if you listen to my shows, I talk about the importance. I've done whole shows on, a number of shows on vitamin C. 5 or 6 doses a day. There, I'm not going to tell you how much, but I'm going to tell you how often. Go listen to the shows if you want to learn more. Because remember, if it's highly absorbable and highly utilizable by your body and available and utilizable, it's going to be used and then urinated the rest away. After 2 hours, it's gone from your system. So you want to repeat vitamin C every 2 hours. Most of these other things, once a day is enough. Don't overdo it. Start with once a day dosages and then play with one at a time and give it a couple of weeks to see if you need to increase the amount. Unless you have somebody that can test you kinesiologically, your muscle strength testing, then you're going to have to play with this on your own. So hyaluronic acid, curcumin, these are some of the other supplements that along with green tea. Green tea is another very helpful one. Along with, you can use green tea and chamomile tea and ginger tea if you can't just get fresh organic ginger. All these things can be tremendously beneficial, tremendously beneficial. Now, I know I'm going to start running out of time, so I'm just going to go through some other things. Meditation can be very helpful in reducing your stress level and thus raise your pain tolerance, your pain threshold. And deep breathing exercises can also help with that. Joint movements, I told you, like yoga and Tai Chi, are done with meditation. With meditation can be even more beneficial and more effective than just doing it on its own. So if you learn how to do meditation along with it, I do a transcendental meditation since 1976. It's made a very big difference. Okay. You want to eat foods that are a diet that has lots of well, fish, because of the omega-3 fatty acids. I don't like fish oil, but I do like fish. Fresh fish, or of course, not farm raised, but wild caught. Nuts and seeds, organic nuts and seeds, organic fruits, particularly berries. Sometimes the nightshades, like tomatoes, peppers, can help with arthritic pain. Olive oil, you should be doing a tablespoon of organic olive oil, ideally unfiltered olive oil every day. Beans and lentils and whole grains are also very good. You have to avoid foods that are high or that have sugar of any form, saturated fats, refined carbs, corn oil and other oils like that may be loaded in salad dressing that aren't healthy. MSG, very bad. I'm allergic to it. Artificial sweeteners and alcohol, refined carbs of all kinds are all harmful to do. Okay. With the few minutes we have left, intravenous ozone therapy. That's what we do in our office in Manhattan. Our number there is 212-581-0101. 212-581-0101. And intravenous ozone and prolo ozone, listen to our shows on it, are amazingly beneficial in helping overcome arthritis, to diminishing arthritic pain, and getting you back on your feet again. Okay. 212-581-0101. I told you about Doctor's Biome and how important Doctor's Biome can be. If you don't have a healthy gut, you're not going to absorb all the things that I just told you. Also, yeast overgrowing can cause a joint pain. You've got to get yeast in balance. If you've had antibiotics even once in your lifetime, you eat red meat or chicken that isn't organic, kosher, or halal. Farm-raised fish has antibiotics. I don't care if you burn the meat, it's going to kill all, you're not going to get rid of the antibiotics, it's going to kill all the good boys off. You've got to put the good boys back in every day, every single day, because everything we eat and drink is going to have bacteria in it that aren't healthy for us, and that our good bacteria will fight and kill off, along with our immune system. So we must replenish the good boys in our gut. Doctorsbiome.com. Remember to use the code radio20. Now, for those of you that can't see a doctor that does ozone therapy or prolo ozone therapy, you can go to PromoLife, call them up at 888-742-3404. 888-742-3404. Tell them you heard about it here on the show and you want to get set up for home care. And home care for arthritis is called rectal insufflation, an ozone enema. It's that simple and that easy. Some people have done bagging for joints. If you can bag the joint with ozone, some people have had bagging become helpful and beneficial, and they can set you up with what's called bagging for ozone, and they have videos to help you with, to learn how to do it. Also, you can always call them and they'll always give you advice, and they don't charge for any of that. That's one of the most wonderful things about PromoLife. And their machines are affordable. So you tell them you heard about it here on the show, they'll do something special for you. 888-742-3404. Okay, so prolo ozone, the local injections that we do in the joints, unbelievable relief from arthritis. Why? Because if you heard my shows on stem cell therapy, we're actually creating stem cells that are creating new cartilage in the joint. Yes, you can create new cartilage when you're bone on bone. That's what prolo ozone therapy can do. Listen to my shows on stem cell therapy. Everybody, this has been a technically challenged show. Thank you very much for bearing with me and us for it all. Remember my YouTube channel, Functional Medicine with Dr. Robbins, if you put it in search. Everybody have a safe and healthy and wonderful new year. Come back here next week and listen to a whole brand new show. I'm going to be doing new shows now, for quite some time. Not going away to lecture until February of this year. Everybody stay healthy, stay well, and we'll be back again next week here on Voice America. Bye now.